What up there, people? I am back. I am here. We are gonna record. This is my video on Freddy's Dead. So we're on the sixth Freddy film. This film is bad, man. This to me is the worst. I know people hate the remake, but Freddy is like an absolute. At least there's some good Freddy moments in the remake. Not a lot, but there's at least some. In this, Freddy's like not even scary. He's just straight. Yeah, he's straight up not scary in this. The one scene I watched before I watched the movie was the Power Glove scene. You know, it was a joke on the Nintendo Power Glove. And just, man. So, this film is just so bad, man. Like, Freddy's an absolute joke. The characters are terrible. The final, and this is supposed to be like the final one at the time. So, this came out in 91. Just, so 10 years since the fifth film. So Freddy has started killing children in the town of Springwood. We are introduced to this character called John Doe, literally. And the joke is he wakes up and this house is falling. And Freddy makes a gag of, like the Wizard of Oz joke, like, I'm going to get you and your little dog. Freddy basically did that joke. So we already start off with a cringy, like, why, like, he's not even scary. So he's confronted by Freddy and he gets basically knocked into Springwood. And he goes through the barrier and he's taken to a house of troubled youth. You have Spencer, played by what's this? I'm trying to remember his name. He's in like a lot of late '90s movies. It doesn't really matter. He was, but he was an okay character. He's like the stoner. You have Carlos, who's like the one. Carlos's death like the only solid kill in this movie. You have Tracy, who basically her backstory. Let's go into it. Her backstory, she basically has daddy issues. Her dad, I mean, it's fucked up what happens, what her dad does to her, but it's just, I'm not gonna say it's hard to sympathize because it isn't, obviously. Like, that shit's fucked up either way, but she's an unlikable character. Like, all these characters are unlikable. Outside of Spencer, just none of them I care for. And then we're introduced to Maggie Burrows, who she's Freddy's daughter. I'm just gonna spoil it. I don't fucking care. She's Freddy's daughter. She's kind of. I actually don't mind that aspect of the film, but I don't feel like they explore it enough. Like, and you even get like a quick backstory where I'll say this. I don't care if it's not in order. There's one scene where she goes through like Freddy's dreams, like, and you look into Freddy's past, like he's beaten by his adopted dad, who's played by Alice Cooper, quick cameo. Then you see Freddy like in his past, he kills a bird, and she sees her mom get, well, it's hinted. You don't flat out see the murder, but you see that because the daughter finds Freddy's. I think Freddy's claws. So I like that shit, but it's just they don't explore it enough. So back to the beginning. And John has amnesia. There's not a lot to this character. So they stow away in the van. They take a road trip to Springwood, but Tracy, Carlos, and Spencer stow away. Whatever. So they try to leave Springwood. They find an abandoned house, and it turns out it transforms into the 1428 Elm. So a little callback. Um, and John and Maggie discover Springwood or visit Springwood Orphanage, and this is where we find out Freddy as a kid. And John Doe, that's literally his name. They don't even give him a name. That's just his name, John Doe. It's just, man. There's no scary moments. None of the characters are likable. Freddy's like, even the makeup is just not good. It's like, it looks like a joke. it's so that happens. Carlos and Spencer fall asleep. Carlos gets killed because Freddy pops his ear. Because not Spencer, Carlos has a problem hearing, and Freddy fucks with his ears to give him super hearing, and Freddy basically fucks until his heads explode. It was a good kill. I will say that. And then Spencer's kill is the one from the Power Glove kill. You have like a little quick cameo on the television because Carlos is watching, Spencer's watching TV because he's smoking weed. And speaking of which, so Spencer gets transported to like a Nintendo world, and Freddy basically is using the Power Glove, and I remember right. I think it's Maggie and Tracy try to save Spencer, and then Freddy makes the joke. You forgot about the Power Glove, and that was like the only like good moment in this movie, and it was just because it was a joke. So Freddy ends up killing Spencer by sending him to his because he's having him bounce into a pit. So Spencer dies. Then Craig Krueger ends up killing John. And this is where it's revealed that John's not his kid. And who cares? It's not as bad as Freddy's Dead. I'll say that. I mean, not Freddy's Dead. As Jason Goes to Hell. But this movie is not good, man. And it's almost like a parody of a Freddy movie. Like, there's no scary moments. You look into Tracy's past, and you. So, so this is where Maggie finds out she's Freddy's kid, and this is where I think she goes into his dream, like his past, and that part of the film is actually good, but it doesn't last long. Then I'm just gonna kind of skip through. Then we get to the final act, and oh my god, the final act's so fucking goofy. Because they want to show you this girl Tracy's tough because she hits a heavy bag. And so they fight Maggie, and all of a sudden Maggie's good with like, because there's weapons that for some reason patients had that were confiscated, and they use them all. You have a one funny scene where you have this guy named Doc, who's like a therapist for this troubled school, and he just beats Freddy up with a bat. I'll admit that part was kind of funny, but just the final act's so goofy. And so she ends up throwing ninja fucking stars. All of a sudden, Maggie's like good with ninja stars. So yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, they bring Freddy from the dream world. So basically, the final act is the first movie. We already did bringing Freddy from the dream world to the real world. We've done that like a bunch of times. A bunch of sequels already did that. Like, so you're not even original. I'm drinking an IPA right now, by the way. But it's like, we did that already. So your grand plan is, oh, we're gonna bring Freddy to the real world. Motherfucker, that's the point of these movies. And that's usually most of the final acts go. They either kill him in the dream or they bring him to the real world and beat him. Holy shit. The fact that's what it was, and this was supposed to be the final one. This was supposed to be the final one. And oh my god, this would have been horrible if Nightmare went out on this. That's why I'm kind of happy we got Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I will review next week. I'm happy we kind of got that, because my god, if this was the last Freddy movie, oh my. So he stabs Freddy in the stomach with his own glove, and then they throw a pipe bomb and he blows up. And that's it. And then basically, Maggie says, Freddy's dead, so credits, roll credits like fucking CinemaSins does. This movie sucks. The fact that this is supposed to be the last one. I mean, you look at from go back to Friday Part 4 when that was supposed to be the last one. That was actually a good film, and I would have been, I think that would have been an okay ending. If this was supposed to be the ending, even Halloween H2O, as bad as that movie is, I don't like it either. But at least the final act kind of makes up for it. It's not great, but it at least better than this. The fact that the big plan is, oh, we're gonna bring him to the real world, and you don't get to know any of the characters. Just feel like caricatures. Tracy's just angry, and even with her fucked up backstory, it's like they don't make her an interesting character. She's just generic tough chick. Oh, show her hitting a heavy bag, and she has weapons, so she's tough. It's horrible. And Maggie is just boring. And then all of a sudden, in the end, she's all of a sudden knows how to throw ninja stars. What? No interesting characters, man. And this is, unfortunately, this was billed as the last one. And in Friday, I keep saying Friday. Sorry. If Nightmare would have been a shit franchise, in my opinion, because I've been saying this. They get after 4. I'll give because 4 isn't horrible. I think 4 has some good dream scenes and it's watchable. But for 5 and then this, it's just in terms of quality, 3 is like the last great one. In my opinion, 3 is the like truly the last great one. Um, this is just this is abysmal. No great score either. Um, the town you had like I think Roseanne Barr fucking cameoed in this. Her and some other dude who was like a big actor in the '90s made a quick cameo. None of this movie made sense, and Maggie Burrows should have been a much more interesting character if they're going for her to be Freddy's daughter. I actually didn't mind that aspect of the movie. I think if they explored it, it would have been interesting. And her finding out her dad's the Springwood slasher and all that would have been done better. Honestly, they should have went full out and shown him killing his wife or her mom. They didn't even show it. They just kind of implied it. And then we get to shit, and then the final act's horrible. I think they should have just did the final act in the dream world. I think that would have been a better final act than this, like, oh, we're gonna bring him to the real world again. We did that already. Several films actually who did that. It's like, why? You're not original movie. And then the fact that Freddy didn't even really put up a fight either in the final act. Usually the killer at least somewhat puts a fight. Like Freddy in 3 put up a fight, you know? Even in somewhat in 2. Like in this, he doesn't even put up a fight. He gets bitched out, and all of a sudden his daughter knows how to use fucking ninja stars and shit. Like I said, because Nightmare is known for her strong characters. Obviously not in the later ones, because I don't care for Alice as a character. I think she gets slightly better in 5, but I think she was still better than Maggie. Maggie was just kind of boring, unfortunately. She didn't. I think it could be also the actress. I don't think was the right pick. I think you should have went with a chick who I feel like could be in a horror movie. The chick they picked feels. I'm gonna say it. She feels like a mom or a friend of the main girl in like some Lifetime movie. She doesn't feel like she fits slashers. That's my other problem. She didn't feel like she fit. So it just. I think maybe if they got a different actress. And I also don't feel like went to their full potential with the whole daughter shit either. It was very like we're kind of touched on it, but we're not going to go into it fully. And maybe you know what? In a fucked up way, maybe Tracy should have been his daughter. I think if they fixed her character and made her likable, not go for this fucking pseudo tough chick gimmick. It just I don't know, man. And unfortunately, her backstory was interesting. It's just once again I don't know if it was just because it was the early '90s and that's just they felt like they needed a chick like that. But it's like also you already had a tough chick caricature in part 4, so it's just like so you already did like the tough girl bit already in 4. So it's like we're really doing that gimmick again. Like it The music was weak. Freddy was weak, and even like I said, I've been saying this. Michael and Michael can carry even the bad Halloween sequels. Same with Jason. You know, yeah, some of those Friday the 13th aren't great, obviously, but at least Jason is still Jason in those. At least Michael, Sans H2O, even in some of the bad ones, he's still badass and he's still scary. Freddy in this was just he couldn't save this movie. He couldn't save it at all. And I don't know, maybe Robert Englund had fun in this movie, but I didn't. This movie was painful. This is one I recommend don't watch. If you want like a end point in a way, just watch Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason is Robert Englund's last performance as Freddy anyway. Or in a fucked up way, Wes Craven's New Nightmare can kind of be like that, you know, conclusion kind of too, in a way. Like either one of those two movies. That can be like your conclusion for the Nightmare franchise. Don't watch the '03. Don't watch this one. Don't watch Freddy's Dead. It's not good. I don't even think there are people who I've seen defend it. Maybe they grew up with the movie, who's trying to say, well, it's kind of funny. I disagree. It's not even funny. Freddy's not scary and he's not funny in it. The Wizard of Oz thing, I just rolled my eyes. I was just like, really? And he just gets bitched out in the final act. Like, I didn't even feel like he was a challenge, you know? Like, Freddy felt like a challenge in the final, in Dream Warriors. You know, when they went against him. Like, it took the guy helping him on the outside in that one. In this, Freddy it didn't matter. He seemed like he wasn't scary. He got his ass kicked by everybody. Like even before like the final act, there's a moment where Tracy beats him up with the like I think because he shifts into her dad in a dream scene, but she beats him up with like a toaster. There's the dock scene with the bat. Then the final act. It's like in this movie, all he does is get bitched out. His only cool kill, I will say, is Carlos's, but it's not even one of the best. But it's one of the only decent ones in this. That blowing his head up. Okay, there's something there, but the rest of the kill, like I tongue in cheek, I kind of like the power glove because that's like his kind of funny moment. But the rest of the movie, it just was too try hard, man. I will never watch this movie again, and yeah, fuck this movie. So I'm gonna take a hit. Tomorrow I am gonna be I'm gonna do the video I was supposed to be doing last Wednesday. We're gonna be discussing Godzilla the series. Then Thursday we're gonna start on Child's Play. So I'm gonna start another franchise. So we're gonna do Child's Play on Thursday. Then Friday I will rank the Friday films. So I'm gonna be doing some videos. So basically the rest of this week are videos I was supposed to technically do last week. So yeah. So other than that, I'm gonna cheers and then I'm gonna peace out. Alright, guys. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.